Good evening and welcome to another Fortean Words.
Fortean Words.
You just missed it.
Oh, we had this one.
They've just finished.
Is it the spooky theme tune?
The spooky theme tune's done. That's it,
Yeah.
we're live. We're live now.
We're live.
Spooky.
Hello.
Oh, I haven't even queued up your video, Hubbard. Do you want me to play your video?
Well, I thought it would be a good introduction to this because, well, funny enough, I'm not going to say watch all of Fraser's video, but he made a very interesting point about ether and Hawking radiation. And then what did I see but this very Fortean episode of Viz? So, yeah.
Oh. You're going to debunk this? Or are we going to...
No, this is debunking Professor Brian Cox.
Really? Wow. Fucking hell.
Yep.
Who are this?
Yep, so we're all,
I don't know if I know this.
you read Viz, didn't you? Buster Gonad and that?
Maybe.
the fat slags.
Yeah.
I might have.
So I picked up.
Right, so if I go live, give me a sec. Have they changed going live? Why are they always fucking around with things? Why can't they leave stuff alone? So if I go live, you can watch it with me, and if I do that, you can hear Hobbit's video. So if you want to watch along, Fraser.
Oh, watch
And Hobbit.
along.
Up this edition of Viz a few days ago.
So Hobbit's bought
And as I was
Viz.
scrolling through, of course, you've got Aether. Oh lordy, it's the fat slags. Can't show
Fucking hell, Hobbit! Did you?
Christian server.
Why is this in 1440? Oh, it's
Can't
got
see anything good
auto
in top
360p. Why?
Because bandwidth.
Fool people into believing you have dandruff by crumbling a prawn cracker into the shoulders of your jumper.
Yeah.
See, you can do that.
Can you hear that, Fraser?
Yeah, I can hear it, yeah.
Now, here we go. So, in this edition of this, we've got it's Britain's liveliest forum for people who don't know the difference between black holes and glory holes. Cox, not Cox. With Professor Brian Cox.
Professor Brian
Top
Cox.
telephysicist Brian Cox here. Top telephysicist Brian Cox here. If there's one thing that baffles the public most when it comes to science, it's the distinction between black holes and glory holes. Here are just a few of the questions I've received this month. Dear Professor Cox, if I'm on a spaceship hurtling towards an event horizon, and I stick my cock through a hole in the craft's toilet bowl, will my bell end technically be younger than my balls? That's from Keith from Halifax. Brian says, this is a tricky one. If you are travelling on a bus and jump up, you will not be propelled towards the back of the vehicle, but if you stick your knob out of the bus window and piss, the stream of urine will reach the back of the bus in seconds. And it's the same with event horizons. Hope this helps.
Are we going back to the
Dear Professor Cox, if I pushed my
if
cock
you're in
through a
enclosed
glory hole
space
in the black hole, could someone on the other side take a picture of
Well,
it?
I think it makes some
Would the
interesting
light from the
points.
flash be pulled away from my Charlie and towards the centre of the superdense star? And then Brian says, someone could take all the photos they like of your male member pushed through the black hole wall. But as predicted by Einstein's theory of general relativity, the light will be unable to escape from your camera, and all the photos will come back really dark. And then finally, dear Professor Cox, I've heard scare stories about glory holes and event horizons becoming smaller after you've stuck your knob through them due to an energy loss phenomenon called Hawking radiation. Is this true? And if so, would it choke my cock? That's from Tim in Worcester. Brian says, let me put your mind at rest. The answer is no. Hawking
We're nicely playing 20
occurs
minutes of
because
video,
the
are we,
vacuum
Hubbard?
is not really empty.
Well, no,
See, not
you don't have to play all of it.
radiation.
You can watch the rest of it on my channel.
And could technically evaporate a glory hole ripping any chopper poked through it. However, it would take longer than the age of the universe to fully evaporate and become a total vacuum, leaving you plenty of time to get noshed off by a stranger without worrying. So yeah, that's
Right, so you get the message with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, the rest of it's
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
so. Isn't Hawking and radiation amazing? You see, there was this discounted theory of the ether, but we've just reinvented it as Hawking radiation. Isn't plagiarism amazing? And that's it, really. Ether, it doesn't exist. Stephen J. James will tell you all about it. And Hawking radiation definitely does exist, because vacuums can't exist, and that's why there's Hawking radiation and something they call a three-dimensional particle, or a virtual particle.
Right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
a three-dimensional particle exists in space, but it doesn't exist in time, and you can only observe the after effects of that particle in like energy decay.
So what does that mean to layman,
Right.
Hobbit?
Yeah. Hobbit, tell us.
Oh, what? Well, you see, there's this idea that you've got vacuums, but a lot of people contend, well, nature abhors a vacuum, and there's no such thing as a vacuum. And that's why you've got, when people have observed vacuums up in our rarefied atmosphere, they say, oh, well, and plus the vacuum's made on the, down here on Earth, that in fact what happens is, what's the word I'm looking for? The vacuums start filling up with virtual particles. So no particles are being introduced into the vacuum, yet there's still evidence that particles existed. But that's the strange thing about virtual particles. Can something exist if it doesn't exist in time? Well, they say it does, because you can observe the byproducts of these particles dissolving into energy instantly. So there's never truly a vacuum. But really, you could just say, well, hang on, isn't that the old theory of the ether? That there's this underlying energy matrix underneath all matter. And when you get into a vacuum, that's when you get to see...
There is no vacuum, yeah, basically, yeah. That's taking away the vacuum, right? Yeah. So everything is filled. Yeah, so there are no vacuums in space, basically, I'm trying to say.
What if a perfect vacuum is theoretical, like absolute zero? You can get close to it, but you can't actually get it. So you can't get something to absolute zero.
Right.
And, excuse me.
Yeah.
Got a mouthful of bread. You can't get an absolute vacuum either.
So what are you saying then?
I'm saying you should play more of the video whilst I'm masticating.
No, I'm just going to embarrass you, Hobbit. I'm going to leave you leaving everybody with dead air.
Yeah, like a vacuum.
Yeah, like a vacuum of air. It's Hobbit leaving dead air. Hobbit's leaving the perfect dead air vacuum.
Well, you see, the thing is, people in their minds will start filling in, and there will not be a true vacuum of dead air, because they'll have like thoughts in their heads about, oh, I wonder what they're going to say next, and they'll start speculating. You see, they're already.
But if it doesn't exist in time, is it ever really there?
But that's the thing. What I'm trying to say is that the audience will start making their own Fortean Words episode in their head.
Yeah.
So even though I'm just like busy chewing on some bread, they'll be like, "Oh, what's he going to say next about the secrets of the universe with Professor Brian Cox?"
Brian Cox.
It's space amazing.
It's space amazing.
Do you want to talk about Hawking radiation? Because you touched on that earlier this week, Fraser.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds exactly like it does on tin, right? It's just it's the newfangled excuse for, it's like dark matter, isn't it? Like, oh shit, we've got a problem here with relativity. Quick, invent dark matter. Oh wait, it isn't actually. There is like 94% of the universe is now dark matter. Rather than
Dark matter, dark energy just seems to be like
it's a cop out for explaining away, the problems that they have in relativity and general relativity, special relativity as well. So.
The problem is, because we've moved away from the truth, they come up with these elaborate schemes like dark matter and dark energy, which is a load of bollocks and doesn't exist. Because we can't talk about the ether.
Well, this is it. You got to prove it exists, right? It's like it's the same with this like fucking virtual particle. Sorry, I'm swearing again. I need a swear jar.
Fucking.
These virtual particles. This stuff just makes me say the F-bomb. Can't. It's just with the virtual particle, it's like, how do you test for it? If you're saying you can't test it in time, so it's never really at any point, in time, how do you test for it?
Well, it's like it's like you're being a detective, and you're looking for clues that something's been there. No, the thing that's there is no longer there. So you're trying to be like a physicist detective who's like, oh well, there's evidence that particles were here. The thing is, what I'd like to know is studies into virtual particles. How is that different from studies into homeopathy? Because they're both saying, well, you see, when you've got when you've got a tiny trace of something in here, it's actually like far more potent. And I'm thinking to myself, so you're saying if you've got like the closer you get to a vacuum, the more it gets filled up with virtual particles. I don't know. To me, it's just like homeopathy is woo-woo crackery, but particle physics, oh yeah, it's an exciting new field discovery.
This is the interesting thing. People will hear that and go, oh yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, that sounds. I don't understand it. I'm never going to understand it. This is a normal person, basically. Like, I'll never understand it. But I'll just take your word for it. And this is that's like half the battle, is people just believing what they're told. Like, those scientists could literally come out and start talking absolute rubbish, and people would be like, "Yep, sure."
If you want,
it's like we talk about the flat Earth, and a certain person says, like, there's a preponderance of evidence to show it, but that person never ever comes out with any of the evidence. You need
to think abstractly, Hemi. You just need to abstractly think about it.
Yeah,
and you will understand the whole globe Earth model. That's it. You need to know if you've had breakfast this morning, right? You need to know. You need to think about that exactly. No, you can't say you've had breakfast.
Yeah.
Right. Can't use your eyes. Don't use your eyes. Just think about it abstractly. Think about it, right? Think about the big picture and all these mumbo jumbo shit. Like, and listen and believe to what a scientist is telling you. You'll never prove it, but you've definitely had breakfast, right?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
But what if there were virtual particles in my vacuum?
But okay, sure. And I've got I don't know, unvirtual particles in my fucking arsehole. Can you prove it?
Oh, well, we'd have to do a test.
Well, that's it. How would you test for it?
Well, see, the problem is, because your arsehole's not a perfect vacuum.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's got like lots of matter in there. Yeah. Dark matter, one could say.
Yeah.
It would make it very difficult to detect virtual particles.
Exactly. Yeah. How would you detect it between the dark matter?
You get false positives from the actual particles.
It's virtual particles. Is that where we're at now?
It's like unexplained mysteries and their fucking quantum this and quantum that, isn't it?
Scientists have discovered that maybe one day we could find a virtual particle. The story. oh, it's a possibility.
Is virtual the new word for God particle? Then is it? You know, because the atheists have taken over.
I don't understand.
Like,
well, what is a virtual particle? Why do they call it virtual?
Yeah, but it can't be a real particle because it's virtual.
Yeah.
If it's virtual, it's not real.
Exactly, virtual is something you see on a screen, right? It's you know.
Well, this is why I like the term of three-dimensional particle, as in the particle exists in space, but it doesn't exist in time.
How is that possible? How is that possible? Tell me.
That's a good question, you see, because then you've got to ask yourself the case of like, well,
we're going string theory shit here, like,
well, it's a case of like, how is this thing not existing yet still exist? Because we got that concept.
Schrodinger's particle. Is that what we're going to call it? The Schrodinger particle. Is it alive or is it not? Is that it? Is that what it is?
Until Brian Cox talks about it, does it exist?
Well, this is the thing. If you want anything to sound plausible, what you do is to get someone credentials like Brian Cox to walk towards the camera as he walks through like a university.
Walk slowly towards the camera, Hobbit.
Yes, that gives it an air of credibility.
Yeah.
My God. Oh.
As long as he's in a university quad while he's at it, it's got to be in a university quad, walking slowly towards the camera, talking softly.
This sounds like some university professor got his grant and gets paid to literally just sit there and think up whatever. Like there's no experimentations. No.
Yeah, but I've done it with maths. This is the new thing that I've done it with maths. That's how I know it's real.
That is science these days. Maths. It's not. This is why it's so hard to get around to the people who talk about globe Earth, right?
Well, look, I've got simulated.
Because it's just maths. It's all maths.
It's like explain the Earth is round without space or maths.
Yeah.
And they can't. It always has to be Earth relative to something else to prove that it's round.
It. Yeah, it's like prove the inertia, inertia.
So, Hemi,
prove that you're moving at 1,000 miles per hour right now. That makes because the whole thing is moving. We're actually at zero. That's why when you go on a train in your little pressurized tube, right? You can walk around and. It's fine, right? You don't feel it though, bro, right? But you're moving on that train at 50 miles an hour on a ball spinning 1,000 miles an hour. It's prove the emission of 1,000 miles first. Can you? No, we can't do that. Sorry, it's relative.
And it's going fast. I'll jump up on it and see if I move back.
Well, this is it. This is what I when people ask you that, it's like, oh, well, you don't feel moving on a train, do you? It's like, well, you do, and it's like they're like, no, you don't. Have you ever been on a train recently and moved to the front and the back? You feel it. If you move towards the front of the train, it's easier than if you're moving. Is it moving to the front? No, if you're moving to the front, it's harder. Moving to the back would be easier. Yeah.
The direction of travel. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. You do feel it. That's the thing. You do actually feel that it gets harder as you go forward to the front, right?
No, Fraser, you're just imagining it.
Right. That's right. I don't know how many times I had to say this to actually smart people who were doing physics and shit at fucking CERN, and they're like, no, that's not true. It's like, have you been on a fucking train recently?
Why don't one of you give us the definition of Hawking radiation? Let's Snopes.
Break it down. Break it down.
Come on, I want the Snopes on this, or the Wikipedia.
Freestyle rap battle on Hawking radiation. Let's go.
Hawking radiation. Definitely not ether. Remember, my granddad, when he was at school, he was taught to read, write, do arithmetic, and learn that ether is definitely not real.
I remember the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. Reading, writing, and arithmetic.
And ether's not real.
Here's a science alert. It looks like a rag fucking thing. Do you want me to read it, or do you want me to send it you?
Yeah.
I'll send it you.
Read it.
Right. Okay. I'll send it to Hemi on Discord. Where is it? In general.
Yeah. General in the old one.
Yeah. Put it up on the screen. We'll read from this. This sounds like a really scientific thing. It's got it looks like it was done in Squarespace, so it's definitely scientific. Right, what is Hawking radiation?
Through the times.
Explainer by Science Alert staff. That's how it's not done by one person. They needed multiple people to understand.
Is it black background with green text?
How big brain this is? No. Right, Hawking radiation describes hypothetical particles. There we are. Hypothetical particles formed by a black hole's boundary. This radiation implies black holes have temperatures that are inversely proportional to their mass. Putting it another way, the smaller a black hole is, the hotter it should glow. Although it has never been directly observed.
Well, like everything to do with black holes is theoretical.
Oh, have you seen the meme? I saw a meme on Twitter the other day about black holes, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly, do you know this? It took up 5 petabytes, I think it was, of data to, in quotation marks now, ladies and gentlemen, take a picture of this black hole.
What's a petabyte? Is that?
Is
that what Gary Glitter goes to PC World to get fixed on his computer?
More than that. Yeah, I think it's like 1,000 gigabytes. Is it
1,000 gigabytes is a terabyte.
Right, okay. So it took them that many terabytes to capture this, in quotation, picture of a black hole. I mean, that's insane. Like, it's like, okay.
I thought monochrome pictures took up less space.
For something that hasn't been proven yet, that's a lot of petabytes, right?
Yeah.
Haven't been directly observed, right? Hawking radiation is a prediction that supports combined models of general relativity and quantum mechanics. Ooh. It is named after the eminent physicist Stephen Hawking.
What's a Google then? Because a Google's a number, isn't it?
A Google? Is it?
Isn't it? I thought a Google was a number. Oh, I forget that.
It's a web browser.
Yeah, it's 1 followed by 72. Sorry, it's the number 10 to the power of 72, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And the mathematician who said to his son, give a name for this, and the son's like, a Google. And it's like, all right, so you're asking toddlers to come up with names for stuff now.
A gigabyte, yeah.
Right? Is it a teraflop? Is a teraflop a number then as well?
Yeah, that's flops are floating point operations.
Oh, right, okay.
That's like tasks per second, basically. In 1974, published a paper titled "Black Hole Explosions?" arguing for their existence. Wait, black hole explosions? Okay. Oh, is there a link to this paper?
So in 1974, they were arguing for their existence. So before 1974, they didn't know what a black hole was.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Or if it even existed. Like, so this scientist is like theoretically said, oh well, actually these things should exist. Blah blah blah. Right? Theoretically, these should exist. Quantum gravitational effects. Okay, black hole explosions. S.W. Hawking.
Oh no! The next bit is if shown to be factual, Hawking radiation would mean black holes.
No. I was reading his actual paper. They've actually linked to it. So,
okay.
If shown to be factual, again, Hawking radiation would mean black holes can emit energy and therefore shrink in size, with the tiniest of these insanely dense objects exploding rapidly in a puff of heat, and the largest slowly evaporating over trillions of years in a cold breeze. What does that even mean? I thought there was no heat in a vacuum. I thought you couldn't get heat if there was no atoms to.
Well, black holes are supposed to suck in gravity and time, aren't they? So surely they'd do something with heat as well, wouldn't they?
I mean, if it's this is the thing, right? Well, I don't get it. So again, what's the difference between a black hole and the sun or a planet or it's just sucking in matter, right?
Well,
why isn't it condense?
A black hole is a star that's collapsed in on itself. Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly, but
it's a bit more than that.
How is it?
Because a neutron star is also a star that's collapsed in on itself.
But that's matter. That's still matter, supposedly, right? Isn't it? Well, right. Okay. So yeah. So why should black holes glow?
Oh God!
Neutronium.
Oh God! Chat are going mad now. No, a Googleplex is a Google squared. No, a Googleplex is 10 to the power of a Google. A Google squared is 10 to the power of 200. Fucking hell!
Just Google it.
Never mind the black hole explosion. There's been an autism explosion in the chat.
Right, so why should black holes glow, everybody? Whenever matter enters a black hole, it effectively looks
As
away.
Interdimensional Lizard says, Hawking radiation causes a black hole to shrink. What's all that about?
It effectively locked away the rest of the universe. This also removes a measure of disorder, a characteristic in physics called entropy. And there's the thing, you know.
Donate to my entropy.
Yeah, since this removal of matter leaves the universe less disordered, it was thought to break the second law of thermodynamics. A physicist student from Princeton in the US named Jacob Bekenstein pointed out that the boundary surrounding space... Well, hold on, I'm just going to walk that back a bit. Bekenstein, my white achievement, everyone, pointed out that the boundary surrounding the space most affected by a black hole's insane gravity, a surface, called an event horizon, should increase in area whenever matter falls in. He showed how this area represents the measure.
So the event horizon is the point at which you can't escape the black hole, isn't it? Up until then, you can theoretically escape it, can't you?
Yeah, supposedly, theoretically, yeah.
Black holes have an event horizon. Horizon's confirmed. Therefore, global.
Otherwise, be lost. A suggestion that should solve the paradox. Ah, yes, because you can't have entropy, right? Disorder in the universe would be losing energy, and we can't have that because that breaks the second law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred.
Well, it's been transferred into the black hole.
No, but you can't do that because that's taking away from the universe. What? Think of all the dark matter, Hemi, you're killing that way.
Well, isn't it?
Think of all that dark matter.
Yeah, but if a black hole in theory
think of the children.
But if a black hole is in theory a wormhole to another place in the universe, then it's not, is it? It's just sucking it in and spitting it out somewhere else.
Well, it's not. They're not even saying that. They're just saying it sucks it in and that's it. You know. Oh, it just
all
gets. Where does it go?
Speculation, because the fact is, nobody's observed a wormhole. Nobody's observed a black hole. We can make some pretty
Well, no, supposedly they have, but it took them like 5 petabytes, supposedly, or something. Supposedly.
Yeah.
Remember that thing they came out? Was it a few years ago now? It's that little picture of like the red thing with the black dot in the middle kind of thing. Remember that picture? They said, "Oh, you discovered a black hole."
Are they sure it's not just dirt on the radar screen?
Well, this is it. It's like,
do you remember that one Hobbit from Red Dwarf? When there was the warning and the black holes and I mean we're taking just dirt on the radar screen.
We got bogeys on the radar. Yeah, Mr. List sneezed.
I do miss Red Dwarf, but yeah, we're taking them at their word that this is real and not just some computer CGI fabrication, right?
It's totally real, though. It's not just somebody opening up MS Paint and drawing a couple of red pixels in a black background.
Yeah, exactly.
What do they even know Do they even know that black holes are what they say they are?
Well, considering no one's never been near a black hole, I guess no. I'm guessing no.
Speaking of, it's totally legit. It's not just like a couple of pixels on the screen. Do you remember that guy who said, "Oh, here's a picture of an exoplanet," and what it was a zoomed-in slice of army?
Yeah.
I'm reminded
people
of that
because frying pans as well on Twitter, and it's like, look, it can, you can be bamboozled pretty easily, right? Like, I remember when they said they first detected an exoplanet in another solar system far, far away, right?
What's an exoplanet? What's an exoplanet again?
Well, that's a planet, but it's not in our solar system. As an extraterrestrial planet, exo.
That could sustain life, is that what they're saying?
I don't know.
No, not if it sustains life. It's just here's a planet in the solar system, not our own.
Yeah, it was just like, oh guys, look, the star wobbled or something, therefore exoplanet. There we found one. Yeah. And then
it's the same reason. Like,
well, here's the thing, right? You know this James Webb Telescope, and we'll have to look at this one day. The James Webb Telescope thing, right? Or even today. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but like there's. It can zoom in really far, supposedly to like the far reaches of the galaxy or the universe or whatever, supposedly. And why don't they just point it at one of these supposed solar systems and let's see an actual planet out there? But
Hobbit, do you remember when they sent the Hubble
right?
telescope out with the wrong lens on it? do you remember the launch of the Hubble telescope, Hobbit? He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Right, I'll continue reading. Yeah. Right, so where were we? Okay, physics done that. He showed how this area represents a measure of entropy. Otherwise be lost. Suggestion would be solve the paradox. Right. Hawking wasn't so sure. Entropy is another way of describing heat energy, which necessarily emits radiation. If an event horizon has entropy, it should glow in some way, meaning black holes wouldn't be black after all. In his efforts to disprove Bekenstein's...
What does that even mean? Black holes wouldn't be so black after all.
Well, because it's giving off heat, right? Heat would be red, fire, right?
Like a BBC weather map in the summer.
Yeah. Just heat, right? Heat would glow, I suppose. I guess. Yeah. What colour would heat be? What colour would heat be, I guess? On the colour spectrum, here, Mr. Hawking, can you point to what colour heat would be? Oh, it'd be blue, wouldn't it? They'd say, oh, blue's the hottest part, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it would be blue then, right?
Not on a BBC weather map, it's not.
Yeah. In his efforts to disprove Bekenstein's seemingly absurd suggestion, Hawking discussed it with other physicists and attempted to show using mathematical models it wasn't possible. This is how far removed we are from science. I just want to note it there. That sentence right there just encapsulates like why science is no longer what it should be. Right? We're in efforts to disprove someone is using maths to disprove someone else's maths. That's
you know your maths. My maths is better than your maths. Well, as we've seen on this show before. Like they set out to do a shark dream experiment without even knowing if sharks sleep. That's current year science.
I like with the maths done in with the shark science. It was like they now know less about sharks than before doing the experiment. Please, can you give me more grant money?
Yeah, just like go and observe sharks and write it down maybe. Yeah, first, it's like some like anthropologist going out into the middle of Africa in the 1900s, isn't it, and being like, well, I'm going to study the pygmy people. I don't actually know.
This is the problem, isn't it? It's like all of this stuff's done from behind a computer now, isn't it? And that's the problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like because we can't. Go on then, Hobbit.
Oh no, you carry on. Actually, I was going to mention Aether.
Well, I was going to say like whether we can get out into space or not, yet to be proven. But like that's how we used to do things. We used to try and get out there and do it, but instead now, just the maths is good enough, isn't it?
Yeah. So instead, guys, he discovered that black holes really do seem to shine with cold light. That's right, guys.
Oh, that's it, Hobbit. You missed that, didn't you? What colour is heat?
Well, if you're talking about incandescent, you go from sort of red to white, yellow to white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But blue is the hottest part of the flame, Hobbit. Did you not know that?
Yeah, okay.
And now we have cold light, so what colour is that? What colour is cold light?
If you have a lighter, and do you remember that thing when you used to hold your hand above it for as long as possible because you was trying to prove to your mates you was hard? Like the hottest part isn't the flame, it's like the invisible bit above, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's where all the heat rises.
Yeah.
So, how do black holes produce Hawking radiation? The physical process behind the emission of particles from a near a black hole's event horizon is fairly complex. There we are, guys. Relying on a solid understanding of mathematics of quantum field theory. So,
My bullshit detector's going fucking mental right now.
So you're a young and up and coming globe believer. You go up and to ask your scientists, your authoritative figures. How does that work on in your model? It's fairly complex. It relies on understanding far beyond your capabilities.
It's above
you need
your
mathematics of it. Yes, basically, just listen and believe, right?
Yeah.
That's what they basically just said there, right? It's fairly complex. We're not.
If you don't understand it, you're fit.
Really, yeah, exactly, yeah. You need a degree in mathematical quantum field theory. Okay. So
are we saying that SJJ isn't qualified to tell us about space?
Well, I mean, if that is the kind of answer someone would come up with, like when you challenge like people on their like worldview, is like, well, it's complicated, and you need XYZ mathematical quantum field relativity.
No, when someone says complicated, what that means is that they've lost the spark in their relationship and they're being cheated on, but they don't want to admit it.
So it's commonly described as
complicated also means I'm not clever enough to be able to explain it to you.
So here they are going to explain it to them in the most dumbed down way, right? It's commonly described as a result of twin virtual particles that naturally emerge from the vacuum.
I didn't realise it was AE.
I've just been catching up to the chat. You guys, you've completely missed this point, right? Very Morgana says, if there's no vacuums, then how do I hoover my rug? See?
Let's see.
Excellent connection. There we go. We're back. Sorry, you're going to have to go from neutron stars, I think, I bet.
Right. So I was saying, I can believe neutron stars, even though they're quite fantastical, because you end up with this mythical substance called neutronium, which is where the pressure and is so great in.
I don't think so. Oh yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
Okay. Okay.
Are we?
We're back, guys. We're back.
Yeah.
Right. Go on, Hobbit. Talk about your dense, magical space gas balls.
Yeah. So neutron stars are totally real and legitimate, and I'm just waiting for the chat to load up to see whether this is working or not.
I think it is. Yeah.
Because otherwise, it'll be like orbiting around a black hole. You think you've read this bit before, but you may have done it 100 times previously. Let me just type saying. I saw you type hi.
Yeah, then it's live. Yeah.
We're going.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's telling me I've got an excellent connection, so everything should be fine again.
Neutron stars, right? You got this star. It's very dense. There's no gap between the electrons and the nucleus, so they've all collapsed, and the protons are now touching electrons, and you get a neutron, and of course a huge amount of energy, I imagine, from those two touching, and that's how we get neutrons. Yeah, that's it. There's a huge amount of trouble, energy. No, that's it. So that is how we get neutrons in our universe, which comes in quite useful for chemistry and physics and what have you. But a black hole.
Yes.
Well, right. Yeah, I mean, so we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for neutrons in our body. Now, what a black hole? I mean, the idea, if the conditions are right and it gets compressed even more, instead of being a neutron star, it just collapses in on itself. And really, to me, it sounds like we don't actually know what's here, but we're going to call it a black hole, and our speculation leads us to suspect that.
Well, I think the problem comes around because, Einstein predicted this in his relativity garbage.
Oh, Mr. Einstein, the one who's got a PhD in plagiarism.
Yes, that one.
I really take everything he says at face value.
Right. Yeah, don't be nasty about Einstein's wife. She did all the calculations, all right.
How about this? I'm just looking at Aether.
Which one?
Before we start talking about the Aether, I've got something interesting to show. Aether is related to incinerate and intransitive to burn to shine. Related is the name Aethiopes. Ethiopians see Ethiopia spelled AETHIO. PA.
Oh yeah, because that means burnt face.
Yeah, people with burnt black visage.
Oh damn.
Yeah, it's literally Greek for burnt face man.
Oh.
Ethiopian.
Yeah.
Shout out to David for me. He's a fan of Fortean Words.
Nice.
You can tell it in salad fingers whenever he sort of mentions Professor Brian Cox.
I think the Brian Cox bandwagon is going, mate. We've got it.
Well, it turns out more than one person has thought this guy's a pretentious.
Do you know Fairy McGonagall's got a PhD, a pretty huge dinner?
Oh. Nice.
Yeah, I wish I had a pretty huge dinner.
Yeah. Don't you wish you just had some meatballs and some like really dank looking egg?
But what if you had a really huge dinner? But I didn't. Yeah.
I had a quantum huge dinner.
A quantum huge dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was virtual. I had a virtual dinner.
Virtual huge dinner.
These black holes, right? In fact, Hawking's own popular explanation of the mathematics describes feeling virtual particles affected by extreme gravity. Wait, did I read that? Did I read that it's commonly described as a result of twin particles that normally
I can't help
emerge
it. It's just every time you say Hawking, I keep thinking about a thing called love. It's just like I don't even think of the speak and spell guy. I just think of the darkness.
So we've got Hawking's own popular explanation, right? So I don't know what his unpopular is, but his most popular explanation of the mathematics. So his explanation of the mathematics, which describes fleeting virtual particles affected by extreme gravity.
Is this where someone went up to people in the street and go, "What's your favourite theory?"
Yeah.
And this one
with one half of the pair removing mass from the black hole thanks to extreme gravity, providing the particle negative energy.
Oh, negative energy.
Yes, negative energy. Yes. Can we get negative energy in the chat? You know,
my ex-girlfriend had a lot of negative energy.
I mean, male and female, positive and negative. You know, you need both.
No, you don't actually.
Men are from Mars. Men are from Mars. Women are from Venus.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to her in over 10 years, and I can't say I miss her.
There's no attraction. There's no attraction going on there. Then to carry
now
on
we have virtual particles, extreme gravity, and negative energy in the mix, right?
Beautiful.
Extreme gravity a bit like is that a legal definition, like extreme pornography?
Extreme pornography.
Like, if the police catch you with some extreme gravity, do they put you on a physics offender register?
I see you've got some virtual particles there, putting you on extreme gravity.
I see you've had a bit too much gravity there, sir.
You've been distributing indecent particles.
Right, other physicists feel this localized description of particles splitting apart over an imaginary line is a touch misleading. Fuck me.
Oh god, I've just got to say a funny thing I remember from years ago. There was they were asking children for their definitions of things, and they asked it was either I think it was a parallel. What's a
universe?
What's a parallel? And
what's a parallel? Right, yeah.
No, it's the equator, and a kid said it was an imaginary lion that ran around the Earth.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, might as well.
Well, it's like when I was a child, and my vocabulary being a child was limited.
Yeah.
And I was getting really bored at hairdressers having my hair cut, and I said, "How much longer is it going to be?" And it's like, "Oh, a couple of minutes." And I was like, "A cup full of minutes?" And I was just imagining a mug, and then I thought, a minute's not a physical thing. How many minutes can you put into a cup?
As many as you want.
And the other explanation I remember was they asked a kid to explain what a parallel line was. It's a line that gets closer together as it gets further apart.
Yeah, actually, that's a pretty good definition. I like that. So the thing is, what I like about what we've done so far is we've spent like the first hour talking about bollocks because black holes are real, right? But the ether definitely doesn't exist. I mean, that's why my granddad, when he was going to school, was like, right, Hobbit's grandfather, today you've done your times table, so you know how to do long division. We're going to study Aether. Oh, great. What's it about? Well, it doesn't exist. Right, moving on. Now let's have a look at I before E, except after C.
Yeah.
What's that? I mean, just the fact is, like, decades afterwards, and he's talking to me about space. Isn't it amazing? And he was just saying, "Oh, you know what doesn't exist in space? What's that then? Aliens? No, Aether. Aether doesn't exist. They taught me that in school." I was like, "Oh, okay, that lesson stuck with you."
They've specifically mentioned it to say it doesn't. You know that thing I've just mentioned that doesn't exist.
I'm trying to rack my brains to think, is there anything I was taught in school which doesn't exist? Like, oh, here's a thing which doesn't exist. Wow. Maybe something will come back to me when I'm trying to go to sleep tonight. But the fact is, the reason I mention all this stuff is because these are bullshit explanations for something we had before called the Aether. And I've got a thing. So shall I read it out for you?
Yeah. Go ahead. Right. Yeah, I think that's basically it. Because it's just like.
Yeah. This is Aether.
It basically does the. You're too dumb to read the rest of this, kind of like, just listen and believe.
Yeah, it's like, look, trust the experts. We definitely need more of your money to milk particle accelerators and telescopes. According to ancient medieval science, Aether, also spelled ether.
Oh wait, no, hold on, no, Robert, we haven't got to the curved space yet.
Oh, what you mean bendy lasers?
No, curved space. That's right. There isn't just space. Yeah. There's curved space.
Well, they talk about gravity lenses, don't they?
While we need a complete theory of gravity's role in quantum mechanics to map this interaction properly, Hawking's conclusions show how curved space can upset the mix of quantum properties in the fields near an event horizon.
Working.
That was your Frankenstein's monster where you just refused to reinstall Windows.
Yeah. I think it was like a third generation clone drive.
I mean, you try and do something like that with Windows XP, and it'll just be like, "Fuck off! I'm not doing that." you try and, like, theoretically, you could transfer a Windows XP install from one computer to the other if they had an identical chipset.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with my computer. It's just the OBS on this version of Windows just shit in the bed.
For whatever reason, it's too bad there's no alternative to OBS because.
I did check. StreamYard does exactly the same thing, so it must be like some sort of driver issue.
What if, like,
not StreamYard, Streamlabs? You know, there's Streamlabs OBS, and that did exactly the same thing. Do you remember I had that really bad run of OBS crashing every 2 seconds?
Yeah, I do. Chat, just doing a bit of sort of behind the scenes stuff. What if I ran OBS and then, like, all the data was fed to it and then it went to your channel?
Yeah, but you know what it's like? It goes normal every now and again, doesn't it? Like it'll do this for about a week or so and then it will go back. Like, we've had a run of how many episodes? Like,
you're starting to sound like a bad wife. Like, OBS, I can change it. It'll work.
I can change. It don't always batter me.
It doesn't always push
only
you
when
down
he comes
despair.
back from the pub. Only when OBS comes back from the pub. That's the only time. It's all right the rest of the time.
It's only when Hobbit starts talking about science.
It's only certain subjects as well that seem to really shit the bed.
Yeah, OBS.
I mean, this is why we'll never do an episode about gnomes because I like to. All I'll say about gnomes is they're very nice.
If we ask the gnomes permission to talk about them, I don't think we'll have any troubles.
Well, we'll have to get Zero on for that because he can be our gnome guide and gnome diplomat.
Yeah,
I hope they still like the term gnomes.
Oh, Zero, if you are listening, I've read your email. I've just got to get round to replying to you.
I hope they still refer to themselves as gnomes and not people of gnome or whatever the politically correct term is.
People of gnome.
Now, back to the Aether. Michelson-Morley experiment. Oh, that's it. So I was talking about the underlying... yes. Here's a point I wanted to make. We are three-dimensional creatures, and we do exist in time, but only linear. However, I have often said that in dreams, we are Well, okay, so we live in 3 dimensions. You know, you got your if you want to use the mathematical terms, the X, Y, and Z axis. So you could go forward, sideways, and up and down. But you can only go forwards in time. We can't go back and forth in time. But I think in dreams it's the opposite. Like you've got 1 dimension of space, but you go backwards and forwards in time. But anyway, all of that aside, we are mostly 3-dimensional creatures, and we just time is this weird thing which we're subject to and we don't really understand, and it is subjective and it's very strange. And I think one of the first and biggest spells ever done on mankind was Babylon, when they were doing their dividing the day into 24 hours and 7 days a week, which I find interesting.
But it's not, though, is it? It's 23 hours and 56 minutes.
Yeah, but they divide it into 24 because the reason I always remember this is like, yes, you have 24.
Yeah, but Hobbit, you never feel the 4 minutes, do you, over the course of a year?
Like the Babylonian spell, which I remember it because
Barry Magana said, "Did OBS get you flowers for your black eye?" Yeah, always does give me flowers after he's.
You know what? Can we start doing the show in Scaligerian time? That means like every week we have to like start 40 minutes late.
Didn't we do an episode about the weird times?
Yeah, we did do that. Scaligerian.
Yeah, we did do an episode where we tried to like get our heads around Sidereal.
Reminder, next week is our usual look back at the previous 100 episodes, like we did for the
time and space are linked. Dreams aren't in space, so no time. But what about dreams where I've been like, I'm sure I'm back, like, there's one dream.
Oh, this is what I was trying to say earlier, but I forgot. Into the ether, it's like, it's a phrase that just means like up in smoke or disappeared or whatever, doesn't it? A phrase that people use a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's gone into the ether.
Yeah.
The medium in which like light and electricity can propagate across.
Do you know this other phrase that's attached to the ether? Empyrean? EMPYREAN.
Yeah, the Imperium.
Yeah.
I have heard.
Isn't it? Ethereum?
Oh, that's Empyrean, is it? That's how it's pronounced.
Yeah. Put it in chat so that people can see what it is we're trying to say. Now, I just briefly want to say I had a dream where I was in a Greek agora 3,000 years ago, and I was really curious to see like what things they had for sale. But unfortunately, I didn't really get to see anything.
Did it scare
which was
you?
Annoying.
Being in the agora.
No, because I'm not agoraphobic. You know, I like open spaces.
I'll put the Empyrean up.
The Imperium. Right, so mythological origins. The word ether in Homeric Greek means pure, fresh air or clear sky. In Greek mythology, it was thought to be the pure essence that the gods breathed, filling the space where they lived, analogous to the air breathed by mortals.
Did they have bad breath then?
It is also personified as a deity, Aether, the son of Erebus and Nyx in traditional Greek mythology. I didn't know Erebus was.
How about this one? You see, the concept of ether was used in several theories to explain several natural phenomena, such as the propagation of light and gravity. In the late 19th century, physicists postulated that the ether permeated space, providing a medium through which light could travel in a vacuum, but evidence for the presence of such a medium was not found in the Michelson-Morley. So we're back to the...
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to say to chat, it seems we're back on the subject of technical issues. If you've noticed the difference in the quality of my voice, it's because my current computer, the microphone doesn't work with it, and the other computer that I was working on, I could have got it up for this episode, but no, I haven't got the Discord installed or the microphone plugged in, but maybe next episode I'll have that one there. And once that's all up and running, I'll do, and I'm happy with it, I'll do a wipe on the main computer. Anyway, the ether. Nyx and Erebus' sons called Aether. Aether is related to incinerate, and there's a Greek word there which I can't read because it's in Greek.
Which I talked about earlier, didn't I, with Ethiopia?
Yeah, but this is a different. I'm going to copy and paste the letters. And
but
if someone
Ethiopians weren't sub-Saharan Africans, were they?
No, they're Ethiopians. Sub-Saharan is like Congo and Angola.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, like we commonly know Ethiopians now. I thought were they more like Egyptians or whatever, were they?
Depends how far back. Again, it's how far back do you want to go when you want?
Because it was King Solomon's bird. She was Ethiopian, weren't she?
Yeah, Queen of Sheba.
Queen of Sheba.
Yeah, she's often depicted as not being, normal African stock, shall we say? So,
yeah.
Just as like the Moors were not considered African stock until
And whilst it's not pertinent to this episode,
Islamic conquest.
So could it be that that's not really the etymology of Ethiopians? I mean, the Ethiopians are supposed to have been one of the resting places for the Ark. I mean, could it be that they had some
here's the thing, like
knowledge?
By the time the Greeks had come about, right? That was way after Solomon and Sheba, right? That was like 500 years, maybe more.
Oh, right, okay then.
1,000 years, maybe even. So, yeah, things could have changed, obviously, as we know in modern day. Demographics can change very rapidly. Like most people don't know that, the little bit that's like near where Prussia was.
Yeah.
That used to be like all ethnically like German, prior to World War II, obviously. And now, if you go in 50 years or so, it's all ethnically Russian now.
Well, not many people know there used to be a tribe called the Caribs, and they mysteriously vanished, didn't they?
So things change in short amount of time. It can do.
Yeah.
There's never been Caribs and Caribbeans. It has always been Haitians and Dominicans.
Yeah.
So the Aether, and what's it all about then? Now,
what's all this Aether?
So Aether is related to a Greek word I can't pronounce, which has been pasted into the chat, which means to incinerate, and intransitive, to burn, to shine, related to the name Ethiopies or Ethiopians, see Ethiopia, meaning people with a burnt black visage. Have we been reading the same thing? Anyway,
yes.
No, I just mentioned it earlier because I saw it in the wiki.
No, this is a good thing, right? Because I remember as a child watching this really god-awful Greta Thunberg fan fiction called Captain Planet. And there was the Burger King Kids Club of diversity in it, and they each had this like ring, and the ring would correspond to their elements. So there was Fire, who was like this ginger-haired kid from New York, and he could like burn people alive that were polluting. Then there was Earth, which Earth was quite useful because whenever they're like solar-powered lithium battery plane caught on fire, they'd use Earth to bury it so that the pollution wouldn't spread.
So the press didn't find out.
Yeah, and then there was water to wash away the all the shit and stuff. Because they were pretty diverse and probably shit.
All the stuff that's left after making PV.
Yeah, and then there was air, which was quite good because when the windmills aren't turning, you just do air, and then it makes a gust, and then they blow again.
And then the things snap. Did you ever seen that? You ever seen that one with the wind turbine in a hurricane? It just snaps.
Oh, it's great, isn't it? You can't use them when there's no wind, and when there's too much wind, you can't use them.
They don't actually turn them off when there's little wind.
They need to be in a Goldilocks zone of not too much.
And then of course you need the diesel generator to get them going in the first place.
And then the sort of the fifth element in Captain Planet was this stupid little boy with the crap haircut, and his powers wasn't the ether, it was heart. And there was even an episode where he's just like, my power's so gay and faggy. And you're like, no, your power's actually the best one of all. And then like the Fire's kind of like put his hand around him, consoling, and say, come on, look, somebody's got to be the sissy in our unit. You're the heart for everyone. Yeah. It's like you're not helping. He's like, oh, you're so cute when you're angry. And then Captain Planet comes along. It's like, hey, stop taking the piss out of Hart. He's my boyfriend. Oh. And then Greta Thunberg was just like, one day I'm going to say, how dare you.
Oh, are you going to talk about the two types of ether?
Well, I will get on to that. But
the luminiferous, the luminiferous ether and the mechanical gravitational ether.
Oh, very regardless of this, I had Captain Planet on Mega Drive. It was shit, but I still have nostalgia for it. Hart got a multi-pass through.
What was the one? There was the McDonald's game on the Mega Drive, which I always found really weird.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Well, there was like a Doom clone called Chex Quest, which is like some cereal in America. It's just like, all right, okay.
Back in the day when anyone could make a video game.
So there's a picture here. Let me just copy the image, and then you can post it into chat. And then, Stephen J. James could go, see, this is medieval proof of globe Earth because it's a circle.
Did you know if the sun goes round the Earth, that means it's definitely...
That's geocentrism. That's haram. That's geocentrism. You can't have that.
Is it? Yeah. So that thing in the middle is because it looks like a cog with some. Oh, okay.
Earth, right, and then it's Luna, Mercury, Venus, Solus, Martis.
Oh, okay. And these are all the things which rotate around the Earth.
Yeah.
Okay, I've made things bigger. But this is interesting. So Earth has got like a cog shape. Earth has got a cog shape, and then there's like this fire around it. Anyway, let's read the description, and people can tell me what I'm looking at because I'm not too good at.
Have you seen they put Mercury above Earth? Mercury.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luna, Mercury. Yeah.
Right.
So that's a geocentric universe model.
So I'll read the description. Medieval concept of the cosmos.
So Mars is the other side of the sun, according to that model, then.
Well, no,
I thought the sun was the.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So you got Earth, Luna, Luna, which is the moon, Mercury, Venus.
No, Mercury, Venus, Solus, Martin. Yeah,
that's Mercury, Venus.
And I imagine that's Jovis above. Yeah.
Mars. What's Iovis?
Jupiter,
and then Saturn. Yeah. So the sun is number 4. So it's actually they're all numbered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this shows the innermost spheres of the terrestrial spheres, while the outer are made of the ether and contain the celestial bodies.
Is it sponsored, this diagram, by Paynu Mobile? At the top, it says Paynu Mobile. Yeah. Is it sponsored? Is it? Sponsored by Paynu Mobile.
Schema Familiae
14th century
telephones. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at Latin. Nobody taught me when I was at school.
Which one?
Oh, I just put you're reading the scheme something.
It's the outer ring. It's the outer ring I'm reading. The one on the right. It says Paynu Mobile or whatever it says. And Dreamium Codium, which is
because I'm looking at this Collegium Imperium Habitavium Dei.
Oh, you're ringing. Sorry, the next ring in.
Oh, fuck off! No,
it's got. Is that Gemini? Is it the 2? The star sign Gemini?
I'm getting a phone call from my dad. I tell people first.
Doing Fortean Words, Dad.
Yeah. That's funny. He's normally in bed by now. But anyway, medieval concept of the cosmos. Right, in Plato's, this like 7 days a week, and it seems like the only time people talk to me is on a Thursday. Why is it? It's not just a Thursday as well, but it's like the 2 hours when I happen to be doing the show. Is it just everyone's like, what Hobbit's doing 14 words there? Let's ring him up at this time. In Plato's Timaeus, speaking about air, Plato mentions that there is the most translucent kind, which is called by the name of ether, but otherwise he adopted the classical system of 4 elements. Aristotle, who had been Plato's student at the Academia, agreed on this point with his former mentor, emphasizing additionally that the fire has sometimes been mistaken for ether. Well, we all know my favourite philosopher is Misogenes. However, in his book on the heavens, he introduced a new first element.
I've got a new favourite book. It's Isaac Newton. His third book is called Optics.
Oh yeah. Oh, you've got a voicemail. Like I just sent you. Oh, for fuck's sake! I tell people as well. Like, don't send me.
Shall I read it?
Don't send me. No, I'll carry on reading it. Don't send me a voicemail. I'm not going to listen to them.
Now, for this segment of the show, we read Hobbit reads out.
Why is it like your mum and dad always want to get a hold of you right this second? Like, and anything else, like, so then you just get bombarded with phone calls and fucking voice messages.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's nothing interesting happening. I don't know why he's ringing me at this time of night, but I'll ring him tomorrow. So anyway, I'll ring him after the show if it needs be. On the heavens, he introduced a new first element to the system of classical elements of Ionian philosophy. Ionian. He noted that the 4 terrestrial classical elements were subject to change and naturally moved linearly. They moved in a line. The first element, however,
linearly.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
The first element, however, located in the celestial regions and heavenly bodies, moved It moved in a circular fashion and had none of the qualities of the terrestrial classical elements had. It was neither hot nor cold, neither wet nor dry. With this addition, the system of elements was extended to 5, and later commentators started referring to the new first one as the 5th, and also called it the ether, a word which Aristotle had not used. Ether differed from the 4 terrestrial elements. It was incapable of motion of quality or motion of quantity. Ether was only capable of local motion. Ether naturally moved in circles, and there no contrary or unnatural motion. Aristotle also noted that the celestial sphere...
If it goes in circles, it's definitely a sphere.
Globe proved by Aristotle.
Yeah.
Aristotle also noticed that celestial spheres made of ether held the stars and planets. The idea of ethereal spheres moving with natural circular motion led to Aristotle's explanation of the observed orbits of stars and planets in perfectly circular motion. Well, what's his name? Velikovsky, I think he's called. No, sorry, not Velikovsky. Milankovitch, an astronomer called Milankovitch, observed that things do not move in perfect circles, and he wrote about the cycles. So Earth is subject to Milankovitch cycles.
Well, the Earth has for millions of years, Hobbit, so yeah, boo, sucks to you.
Well, anytime someone brings up global warming, or as it's politically correct to call it now, warming of global or climate change. You just bring
wait, you see, what happened was the Earth was cooling, so we had to say we were going for an ice age. Then it started warming up, so then we had to say it was global warming. But now it's just like they can't really prove that it's up or down, so they just go, well, it's changing.
Yeah. So
perfect circle. Perfect circles.
That's it. But Milankovitch cycles. I mean, we're not on the subject of global warming, but the fact is, Earth's
are they mountain bikes? Are they ATB or are they all terrain or are they road bikes?
Well, there's times in Earth's. So, in fact, you know what? So someone would be quite good for this stuff. It'd be Stephen J. James, because he'd be like, Hobbit. How can you believe in the flat Earth, yet you know about Milankovitch cycles? Doesn't that disprove the flat Earth? It's like, well, I don't know if it does or not. All I know is Milankovitch observed that the sun has periods of luminosity that vary over centuries, and he corresponds it to the orbital period of Earth, which changes. Sometimes we're further away from the sun than other times.
Or the sun's
and also
away from us.
the eccentricity of the orbit changes over time. It's due to like resonance frequencies of the celestial objects. And yes, I know the free body problem. How do you predict the motion of like more than one pendulum? It's complete chaos. You can't do it. Yet somehow the solar system exists and it works. Perfect stuff. But anyway, the ether, which is what's holding this all together and preventing it from all going chaotic, like in the free body pendulum problem. Medieval scholastic philosophers granted ether changes of density, in which the bodies of the planets were considered to be more dense than the medium which filled the rest of the universe. Robert Flood stated that the ether was... That's an unusual name.
Are you going to get on to Isaac Newton? Isaac Newton spoke about the ether.
Oh, well, I'm quintessence. So, we're getting there. The character... So, Robert Flood stated
this on a different page. Do you want me to...
okay, well, I'm almost finished this bit. So, let me finish this bit and we can do that. Robert Flood stated the ether was the character that was subtler than light. Flood cites the 3rd century view of Plotinus concerning the ether as penetrative and non-material, which I think they call neutrinos now. See
so
also
it's a bit like Russell Brand.
What? Penetrative and non-material?
Yeah, he's a bit airy-fairy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right. Go on then.
No, I was just going to say, literally every commercial on TV. That's Fortean. You do your thing.
Right. So Isaac Newton suggests the existence of the ether in the 3rd book of Optics. He says, so he's 1st edition 1704. Doth not this ethereal medium, in passing out of water, glass, crystal, and other compact and dense bodies in empty spaces, grow denser and denser by degrees, and by that means refract the rays of light, not in a point, but by bending them gradually in curved lines? Is not this medium much rarer within the dense bodies of the sun, stars, planets, and comets, than in the empty celestial space between them? And in passing from them to great distances, doth it not grow denser and denser perpetually, and thereby cause the gravity of those great bodies towards one another, and of their parts towards the bodies, every body endeavouring to go from the denser parts of the medium towards the rarer? Good luck to anybody who knows what that means.
Did he also have a foreword in this book called Optics of "Screw yours, I'm going in"?
So, in the 19th century, luminiferous ether. Have you spoke about that yet, Hobbit?
No.
No. I'm not even on quintessence yet.
Oh, okay then. I was just going to talk about James Clerk Maxwell. James Clerk Maxwell. So, in the 19th century, luminiferous ether or ether, meaning that's ether with E without an A at the start, meaning light-bearing ether, was a theorised medium for the propagation of light. James Clerk Maxwell developed a model to explain electric and magnetic phenomena using the ether, a model that led to what we are now called Maxwell's equations and the understanding that light is an electromagnetic wave. However, a series of increasingly complex experiments had been carried out... What?
The double-slit experiment proves that light's not a wave and it's not a particle. We don't know what it is.
No, he just says that understands that light is an electromagnetic wave, but he's not right on that, is he?
But he's wrong, though.
But he did experiments, Hobbit. He didn't just do math on it.
Yeah.
However, a series of increasingly complex experiments had been carried out in the late 1800s, like the Michelson-Morley experiment, in attempting to detect the motion of the Earth through the ether, and had failed to do so. A range of proposed ether dragging theories could explain the null result, but these were more complex and tended to use arbitrary-looking coefficients and physical assumptions. Joseph Larmor,
scrambling,
Larmor,
oh shit, they're not moving,
discussed the ether in terms of a moving magnetic field caused by the acceleration of electrons. Hendrik Lorentz and George Francis Fitzgerald offered within the framework of Lorentz ether theory an explanation of how the Michelson-Morley experiment could have failed to detect motion through the ether. However, the initial Lorentz theory predicted the motion through the ether would create a birefringence effect. Hobbit, do you know what that is?
Put that word in chat so I can read it.
Birefringent.
Actually, I can do one better. There's the explanation of it in Wikipedia. In which,
where have you put it?
Put it in general.
Oh right, okay. I was looking at the YouTube chat.
Which Rayleigh embraced testing and failed to find. What?
So this guy couldn't find it either. So none of them could find any motion or birefringence or any kind of
so I think he's trying. So within Lorentz's theory, there's an explanation of how the Michelson-Morley experiment could have failed to detect motion. So they're trying to work out where the Michelson-Morley went wrong.
Right, okay.
All of those results required the full application of the Lorentz transformation by Lorentz and Joseph Larmor in 1904. Summarising the results of Michelson, Rayleigh and others, Hermann Weyl, W-E-Y-L, German probably, would later write that ether had betaken itself to the land of the shades in a final effort to elude the inquisitive search of the physicist. In addition to possessing more conceptual clarity, Albert Einstein's 1905 special theory of relativity could explain all of the experimental results without referring to an ether at all. This eventually led most physicists to conclude that the earlier notion of a luminiferous ether was not a useful concept.
Oh, sorry, I got stuck onto a rabbit hole there where they're like looking at these list of uniaxial crystals at 590 nanometers, and they got things like calcite, ice, magnesium fluoride. There's something called lithium niobate, which is a synthetic salt consisting of niobium, lithium, and oxygen, and it's got that weird double refraction that birefringence materials have.
Oh, okay. So what's birefringence then? You got a...
Oh, right. Birefringence. I'm glad you asked me because I'm going to scroll to
Oh, it's where
top.
it makes the image look twice. Is that right? Is it like a kind of overlapping image?
It's the optical property of a material having a refractive index that depends on the polarization and propagation direction of light. So depending on what angle you turn it,
Hello?
Oh,
there showing some what? I'm still here.
No, you disappeared for 1 second. You got zapped.
Yeah. You got zapped for a second again.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm phone posting. That's
phoning it in.
Yeah. Well, they got like sandwich between cross polarizers. Clear polystyrene cutlery exhibits wavelengths.
I don't know how many times I've told you that Beautiful South didn't sing perfect, and it was Fairground.
No, that's the thing. That's why I know it's Fairground Attraction because, like, I think that might be the one and only time you've told me it. But yeah, it's a good song. Anyway, shall we get back to the ether? Because I mean, birefringence is interesting, and I certainly want to look more about.
Well, there's also. Do you want to know about the mechanical gravitational ether?
Oh, yeah, go on.
Well, this one's quite short,
so,
actually.
But I just like to highlight the fact that, like, Einstein came along and tried to explain everything away without the ether, all because they couldn't detect motion through it. That was the embarrassing thing that they ran into, wasn't it? Yeah. They couldn't detect the motion. Their model was in, like, dire need of some way to
So
explain
why
that.
would Lorentz be saying that motion through the ether would create a birefringence effect?
Well, he's saying that if you move through it, it's causing double refraction. And depending on what angle you go in it, the angle of refraction changes. Therefore, bendy lasers.
What would he be trying to explain? Explain with that.
But wait. Get this right. Depending on what angle you're at, the angle of the light changes. Therefore, bendy lasers. Therefore, globe Earth is real.
Okay.
We've solved it.
So we solved the reason why globies like to use bendy.
Yeah, but they don't accept the ether exists. So checkmate.
Yeah. Well, look.
True.
We'll have to meet Stephen halfway on this. It's like, look, I accept that globe Earth exists so long as you accept the ether exists, because otherwise I can't explain it.
Yeah, let's go repeat the Michelson-Morley experiment again, shall we? Wait.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, it's not moving. Oh shit. Are we geocentric now? Are we geocentric?
What's zircon? Oh, I need to stop reading about this stuff.
Zircon. So, do you remember cubic zirconia? That's the rings you can buy from QVC. They're just as good as diamonds. Cubic zirconia. You know cubic zirconia, don't you?
The only way you can tell the difference between a cubic zirconia and the diamond is they have different thermal inertia.
I thought you put it in water.
No, you heat them up.
Oh, okay.
I think a diamond heats up much faster than a cubic zirconia.
I think it's probably safer to put it in a glass. Putting it in water shows up the flaws or something. Then, or am I thinking about a flawed cut and shirt?
Flawed diamond. Yeah,
like diamonds have been cut together. I think that.
How are diamonds and cubic zir? Is it ZIR cone?
Yeah, zirconia.
Identified. Because I'm pretty sure it's like you heat them up, and how if a diamond is here we go. Diamonds and cubic zirconias are both popular choices. Blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. ChatGPT. When examining both stones under natural light, diamonds show a dazzling bright light.
I was right.
Diamonds fire a brilliance, while cubic zirconia flashes a much more synthetic rainbow effect. Told James cubic zirconia real diamonds spec the stone for wearing car. Diamonds are hard to normally see any other substance, where cubic zirconia is low refractive index and higher dispersion rate. Cubic zirconias have greater insulating properties than diamonds, and therefore will heat up slower if subjected to a heat test.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Because
real diamonds don't retain heat well, they will never fog up the glass the way a glass or other diamond substitutes will. An easy way to check this is exhale on your stone like you're trying to fog up a window. If it does fog up, then it's definitely glass.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, you don't want to put diamonds in the fire because they are carbon based and they will burn.
Yeah.
So, shall we do the quintessence? This other thing called ether.
Oh, okay then. How about this? Real diamonds are incredibly dense and often outmatch the fakes in density tests. To confirm this, fill a glass up with water and drop your diamond in. A fake diamond will most likely float on the top or only sink to the middle, while a real diamond will sink to the bottom thanks to its density. Keep in mind this test isn't foolproof. Cubic zirconia or glass that have been cut generously and are actually pretty heavy could pass this test. So what's the...
So the quintessence of ether.
Well, you started about diamond. No, I didn't. I did actually, didn't I?
Oh, it was zircons, that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, you mentioned cubic zirconias, yeah. Quintessence is the Latin name of the fifth element used by medieval alchemists for a medium similar or identical to that thought to make up their heavenly bodies. It was noted that there was very little presence of quintessence within the terrestrial sphere. Due to the low presence of quintessence, Earth could be affected by what takes place within the heavenly bodies. The theory was developed in the 14th century text, The Testament of Lullius, attributed to Ramon Lully. The use of quintessence...
Is it?
Well, his name looks almost Welsh, but
Yeah.
Ramon's not really a Welsh name, is it? I'll put it in chat, and someone can say,
Fraser.
"Oh, yeah, that name's Welsh," or whatever. The use of quintessence became popular within medieval alchemy. Quintessence stemmed from the medieval elemental system, which consisted of the four classical elements and ether, or quintessence, in addition to the two chemical elements representing metals: sulfur, the stone which burns, which characterized the principle of combustibility, and mercury, which contained the idealized
Ramon
principle.
Lowe was he was from Majorca.
Was he?
Yeah, he's a theologian, poet, missionary, Christian apologist, and former knight from the Kingdom of Majorca.
Oh, right. Well, the water don't taste like white water.
Yeah, he's from the Kingdom of Majorca, isn't he?
And it contained idealized principles, metallic properties. The elemental system spread rapidly throughout all of Europe and became popular with alchemists, especially in medicinal alchemy. Medicinal alchemy then sought to isolate quintessence and incorporate it within medicine and elixirs.
What's medicinal alchemy, anyway?
Oh, it's basically chemistry of, you're trying to get like the essence of herbs and stuff. So you're making like solvents, like spirits to dissolve the herbs, essential oils in it.
Sounds healthy.
Well, I mean, essential oils, we're talking about the plant's essence, so that's medicinal alchemy then sought to isolate quintessence and incorporate it within medicine and elixirs. Due to quintessence's pure and heavenly quality, it was thought that through consumption one may rid oneself of any impurities or illnesses. In the Book of Quintessence, a 15th century English translation of the continental text, quintessence was used as a medicine for many of man's illnesses. A process given for the creation of quintessence is distillation of alcohol 7 times. Oh, imagine 7-time distillated vodka. Over the years, the term quintessence has become synonymous with elixirs, medicinal alchemy, and the philosopher's stone itself. And the legacy, but this is this bit's not too long, and it's got Isaac Newton in this as well. Legacy. With the 18th century physics developments, physical models known as ether theories made use of a similar concept to the explanation of the propagation of electromagnetic and gravitational forces. As early as the 1670s, Newton used the idea of ether to help match observations to strict mechanical rules of his physics. You've mentioned this bit, haven't you? I mean, it's describing the same thing. I mean,
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so ether and light. The motion of light was a long-standing investigation in physics for hundreds of years before the 20th century.
Yeah, because then it goes into Maxwell's equations and Einstein, so yeah, we've already covered this.
Yeah. The use of ether to describe the motion was popular during the 17th and 18th centuries, including a theory proposed by Johann II Bernoulli.
Oh, we didn't go over this, though. It says, despite the early modern ether models being superseded by general relativity, occasionally some physicists have attempted to reintroduce the concept of ether in an attempt to address perceived deficiencies in current physical models. So the thing is, like, all of these things, they're all fucking cobbled together, aren't they?
Why are we having all this bollocks about dark matter and black holes and Hawking radiation when we've got the ether to explain this stuff? Or are they just like, we don't? Is it like we don't like the term global warming?
We can't use ether because we can't prove it's there. But we absolutely know that. What's that thing they keep trying to find that's not there? Like the god of the gaps out in space. I can't remember what it's called.
Neutrinos.
No, not neutrinos. The dark. Is it dark matter? I'm thinking of
dark matter.
Antimatter. Yeah, but the dark matter is something they can't find, but they keep expressing is there, rather than using the ether
because of entropy. Yeah, because of the entropy we were talking about earlier. Yeah, you have to say that there's something there because otherwise the laws of entropy would break the second law of thermodynamics.
Yeah.
So.
What the hell is the talk about in 37? You need to learn how to walk with your hips and abs. stand up as straight as you can, then tense your bum. That'll push your hip forward. This is like Stephen J. What the? How the fuck is that? J.M.K. and Stephen J. James need to
Are you
get
surprised?
a
Do we need to do an episode on Stephen J. James?
What? You just show
Episode
me
201.
show me your biceps, Stephen J. James.
Is this man real? Is he an actor?
Yeah. So ether and light. The theory of luminiferous ether would influence wave theory of light proposed by Christian Huygens, in which light travelled in the form of longitudinal waves through an omnipresent, perfectly elastic medium having zero density called ether. Yeah, I mean, look, just the fact is this ether explains a lot of stuff that underpins our reality.
Oh, yeah, it's a medium which like light can propagate itself, like, you know, just like water, and you know, can propagate sound and.
Well, I think it could also explain quantum entanglement as well, and why we have telepathy, because there must be some underlying. I call it a matrix because, you know, if you think of a matrix, it's saying that links all things together.
Is getting me.
Yeah,
and it's just the fact is you got this thing that connects everything together. It must explain telepathy, because telepathy means there's a link between you and someone else, and that's why you get certain thoughts and feelings. And I really wish I could do a form of telepathy, which because I tell people, can you not ring me up between the hours of 7 and 9 on Thursdays? And then they do it anyway. I mean, do you remember that one time when there was like 3 different people rang me up on Thursday?
Yeah.
It's yeah. But anyway,
do you want to know why they don't want to use ether? The main reason.
Yes, I do actually, because I think we need to.
The main reason ether is not used, like, it's because there was a young budding inventor called Nikola Tesla, and he invented a tower that could tap electricity from said ether, because obviously, as we know, the world is an electromagnetic. There are electrostatics.
Were they called the Warden Towers? Or am I getting mixed up?
The Wardenclyffe Tower, yeah.
Wardenclyffe Tower, that was it. Yeah, because I've played Tesla versus Lovecraft, and I didn't know if it was a Lovecraft reference or a thingy reference.
So basically, his like magnum opus kind of thing before he kind of went into, like, you know, solitary like isolation was build it, and he got ruined by, you know, General Electric. Was this tower that would drain electromagnetic, you know, electrical energy from the ionosphere, right? And the reason why they don't want to use ether now, and what, you know, is because they don't want you to know that, like, and this is my, I'm going to get my tinfoil hat on, right? And I've probably talked about this before, right?
You're going to get your Tesla coil hat on, are you?
Yeah, Tesla coil hat on. The reason why is because obviously I believe there was a reset, right? There was a reset around 1750 to 1800, something like that. We don't know. Technology, you know, to build all those buildings with horse and buggy. Yeah, okay, if you want to believe that. But there are some like evidences of this, what we call antiquitech stuff. But it basically, Nikola, I think, rediscovered this technology to like drain electrical power from the atmosphere, right?
To tap it.
So tap it basically. Yeah, and basically, you know, as everything we know now in these days is everything's got to be metered, right? You can't have anything for free, right? And this is the whole free energy stuff, right?
Morgan said to him, he says, where am I going to put the meter in this? There's no profit in what you're doing.
Yeah, and that's why certain technologies are suppressed, like water.
Well, the rumor is that Ford.
Things are abundant.
The rumor is that Ford turned down the electric car because there was no money in servicing.
Well, if you can draw it from the atmosphere,
oil and petrol, yeah.
But nowadays they've because the ether is no longer a thing and people don't think about it. They can sell you electricity through a meter.
Yeah.
If you knew that you could power your car by just via the electrostatics from the
the only reason they adopted AC is because of the size of the cables they'd require for DC, which is what Edison was selling.
Edison wasn't interested in doing long range transmission of DC. He always wanted to sell electricity in nickel iron batteries, or knife batteries, NIFE. So the idea would be you get your battery charged up with electricity, and you'd use it for whatever, and then you'd return it when it was empty for a recharged one. And then Tesla was like, well, this is ridiculous. People don't need to port electricity around. It's literally an ether all around. And the fact is, Tesla, what he was doing was just what people have been doing for centuries, because many of these...
what's AC then? Is that the halfway house between the two then?
Alternating current.
Well, alternating current is just...
I know what it is, but I'm just saying, is that like the halfway house between DC and what Tesla... because Tesla coils are used in in your transformers up on the poles.
Yeah.
So alternating current is more efficient for transmitting energy across
and for
wires.
Electrocuting prisoners. You know they used to call it being Westinghouse, don't you? Because Westinghouse was Tesla's financial backer.
Onto the ether. It's just the fact is that prior to the reset, we had these fantastic buildings we can't create today, and starforts, and all sorts of interesting things like that. And they were tapping into the ether, and I say it's a tap. I'm even beginning to wonder if there's some sort of like this. Well, that's it. It's the motion of the ether through our world creates electricity. And it probably creates a whole bunch of other things which we just don't understand. But the one thing we do understand, because Tesla was doing it, and prior to the reset, people were doing it, was just the fact that, you just, here's your electrical bulb, and it lights up because of the ether. You tap into the ether,
and it can be replicated.
You get a flow of electricity.
Yeah, it's. You can send an electrical current through the air. Now, if there was no medium to do that, how is that possible, right? That's what the ether is, right? It's just the medium between, the light bulb and the electricity, right? So it can transfer it. It's just a wire, basically. It's just a wire. Without the wire, it's all around you.
Yeah, and the thing is, people do it now with induction, which isn't very efficient, but it does do the job. Right, so we've got 10 minutes left, and I thought we could just read a bit of Fortean Words. So if you go to Fortean Words, which is on Telegram, you go t.me/Fortean Words, and you can go to our channel there, and you can see the special Fortean Viz issue. There was an advert for Fortean Words in Viz today. Didn't see it. I assume that's the Fairy Morgana. Mayo-chan says...
Oh, there's Fraser's. There's a link to Fraser's video. Is that down at the minute?
I think it might be, because I used to...
No, it's good. No, it's quite simple, Fraser. You just get it deleted. You just get the...
Oh, right. How do you do that?
It does it automatically, doesn't it? You can just mute it, can't you?
Oh, can you? All right.
Mayo-chan says here that this is not a drill. Deadly Asian hornets have been spotted grooming English honeybees in parts of the UK. Sadiq Khan is silent on the matter. The AI revolution is rotten to the core. A documentary about GPT version 2, which is...
What do you think of these people that are always very, very polite to AI?
I think that's very interesting. There's a very interesting video here.
They know what's coming, that's why. That's why they're being nice now.
There's a very interesting video here, which I can't say on YouTube,
or even describe,
where someone is using the Somalian language, translating it into English, and the English phrase is, "I love the way you love me," and in Somalian, it's a bit it's a bit different, put it that way.
Yeah.
Out There, Colorado and X, that was posted by Fraser. It's like people on the train in Southwest Colorado may have spotted
give that a sec.
Yeah,
give me a sec. I'll chuck that up.
Put that on. Yeah, because that was interesting. Like that, I think this is like one of the first, like really like.
It looks a bit Wright Patterson though, doesn't it?
I mean, maybe that was real then.
Maybe they do look like a bloke in a suit, and that's what they look like.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's like pandas. They're not real, right?
Pandas are definitely not real. An animal that can't fuck won't fuck.
It's a carnivore, but it eats bamboo shoots. I mean, I like a Chinese as much as the other guy, but.
But then again, if you explain the duck-billed platypus to someone, they won't.
I prefer Peking duck myself.
I was thinking of that joke. What do you call a cat that's just eaten a duck? A duck-filled fatty puss.
There's a picture of Michelangelo's thing here, but it's got Andrew Tate and Greta Thunberg. Don't know what that's about.
His little willy.
And this is the video which I want to say is further to what we're talking about here. Space rockets go durr. Rebuttal to Stephen J. James
Fraser
on
just needs
YouTube.
to get some copyrighted material moved off that, and then he can get it back off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How about this? There's a section in this month's Fortean Times about Rise of the Robots. Mostly talking about robot dogs. Have you seen they've decided to make a robot dog that's got a flamethrower on it?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's like, have you seen the meme of the scientist? Like, I've invented a feminist robot. When he turns it on, it just screams rape. And then the other scientist says, "Why have you done this?" And he's sort of there thinking, like, and all the time he's thinking about why he's made the feminist robot, it's just screaming rape.
Have you ever seen the film Repo Men?
Yeah.
Where they go repossessing cybernetic body parts.
I think so, yeah.
Well, where they're actually having a go at making the prequel in real life. Masahiko Inami's team at the University of Tokyo have been carrying out research to explore what life might be like if humans could rent cyborg body parts as easily as they can a car. They've developed a series of technologies that they call Jizai.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Oh yeah, I'll just rent my heart.
A Japanese word that suggests autonomy and the freedom to do as one pleases, as long as you got the money for it. The first of these is a set of 4 wearable robotic arms that can be worn attached to a person's back, resembling something out of Spider-Man. Inami says the aim is to...
They made Dr. Octopus, didn't they?
Yeah, because it worked out so well in the comics. Yeah. Inami says the aim is to create something like the relationship a musician has with an instrument. Oh, so they're talking about giving you extra arms, but it's going to go towards giving people their limbs back, but renting them.
Yeah, why have 2 arms when you can have 6? That's it.
He says he sees great potential for such announcements, saying in the future you might see wings growing out of people's backs or drones attached to people. No. Maybe someone will come up with a sport that requires 6 arms or invent a new type of swimming.
Oh man, does that mean we can get a robotic tail? Can we have a robotic tail?
What about cybernetic boobs?
What the fuck? Oh. During a pilot scheme run by the co-op in Milton Keynes, a robotic delivery droid had a run-in... I want
chocolate and strawberry milkshake tits. Well, just breast milk's boring.
A robotic delivery droid...
Imagine if one of them was butterscotch instead. Oh, that would be good.
I thought it was milk lemonade round the corner.
Fudge is made.
That's it, yeah.
But... Melinda Messenger, but she's like, "What flavour do you want?" So, can I have butterscotch?
Oh, but do you not want to hear about someone who was attacked by a co-op droid?
Honestly, I'm having more fun thinking about milking Melinda Messenger right now.
During a pilot scheme run by the Co-op in Milton Keynes, a robotic delivery droid
Denise Van Alphen and Melinda Messenger were there.
Had a run-in with dog walker Brian Dawson, 56, and his German Shepherd Pippa. It came towards me at considerable speed and hit Pippa, who's 12 and a bit doddery, said Dawson. What?
Can you imagine, right? Denise Van Alphen, but she's got popping candy in her breast milk.
She ain't got really big wobblers, though, has she?
I don't care. I'd still suck them.
Yeah. It came towards me, hit Pippa, who's a bit doddery, said Dawson. I gave it a bit of a kick, but it came straight for me again, hit my left leg. It seemed to have a mind of its own. I ended up shoving it on its side, but that triggered its alarm. He eventually righted the robot and complained to the local store, which denied responsibility. The Co-op droids have been trialled in several cities and have encountered a few hitches. In Cambridge, a cyclist saw 7 of the droids queuing up at a pedestrian crossing after one at the front shuffled about a bit and then stopped. One of the droids reportedly then asked a surprised passerby to press the crossing button. Operated for the Co-op by Estonian tech company Starship Technology. Estonian tech company. No wonder these things are fucked. Starship Tech. I'm sorry to our Estonian. We have an Estonian listener, don't we? What's his droid? Technical droid.
I mean, did like, you know, the Estonian car manufacturing? Now they're making robots. It's going to be the larger of robots.
The droids can travel at 4 miles an hour, carry up to 3 bags of shopping. Carry up to
as much as the Lada.
They can only carry 3 bags of shopping of it, and navigate using 12 cameras linked to an AI.
Just as much as a Lada. Are they basically just like rebranding Ladas and say they're robots?
Oh, fucking hell. How about this one then? In San Francisco, Google has been testing its Waymo robotic taxis. Has anybody seen this?
No.
Yes, I have. It was in Total Recall. Johnny Cab.
Yeah. Well, General Motors have been experimenting with their similar driverless cruise vehicles, but Bay Area residents have not been happy with the results. The autonomous vehicles have randomly stalled, jamming busy streets and blocking emergency vehicles, including ambulances trying to reach victims of a mass shooting. One also reportedly ran over a dog deliberately and then proved less effective than human drivers at getting people to their destinations. However, encouraged by a group calling themselves Safe Street Rebel, residents have started to fight back, opposing expansion in the area which the taxis are allowed to operate and disabling them by placing traffic cones on their bonnets, which confuses the vehicles and brings them to a permanent standstill.
So this is like Blade Runners, but even funnier.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm going to download Total Recall again. I'm sure I've got it in my film archive.
And of course, it ends with sex toy entrepreneur Brian Sloan, inventor of AutoBlow, a robotic masturbation sleeve, has granted a patent for the control of sexual stimulation devices using electroencephalography.
Easy for you to say.
Which enables a user to direct the gadget using their thoughts. He's previously marketed a voice control version of the device and created the Automoblow, a robotic arm that extends from a car's cup holder to pleasure the driver. What the fuck? Oh dear. Many of his developments are underpinned by detailed research. He has published the blowjob paper, for which he paid several men in Serbia to watch and document 108 hours of fellatio to create a data set that defined porn performers' optimum rhythm for the activity. He then used this to program...
like your job, like, I get paid to watch blowjobs.
But can you imagine, like, I've been to university for 5 years and got a PhD to watch blowjobs
in blowjob studies.
Wow.
He then used this program, the motions of one version of his device. One version of his device. For his latest creation, he worked with the University Brain Computer Interface Research Group for 3 months, but they declined to have their identity revealed in the paper due to potential negative career impacts based on the sexual nature of the commissioned work. So the robots are going to blow you.
I'm trying to find out what this story is because I want to, like, you know, share this to a friend. It's like
what
all I can find is about the auto blow and that being like studying blowjobs,
That's
and all I
from
can
Vice.
find is
That's from Vice on the 24th of July.
Oh, okay.
Try Brian Sloan. Try Brian Sloan or an auto blow.
Brian Sloan.
That's Sloan with an N, not with an E on the end.
Right, like S Loan.
Yeah. Auto blow.
Hey, it's Andrew Tate. Have you seen Brian Sloan?
Oh, found it. This thought-controlled sex toy lets you masturbate with your mind. That one. Is that the one you're reading?
Just need a neurochip.
Latest version of the auto blow uses EEG to enter the mind of the masturbator.
Cool.
There you go, Hobbit.
It's 9 o'clock. I'm ready to clock off. I'm quite tired.
Are we done for the evening then? Are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Head off.
Ash has just arrived. He said, AI will continue to degrade humans while being painted as magical revolutionary. Well, you know, it's the dictionary theory, isn't it? Like, kids will always go to the dirty words in the dictionary, won't they? And I don't think the internet is any different.
Yeah.
So on that positive note, good night all. Stay spooky.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, we could have finished with that song.
What?
Oh, I don't know. Something
song?
about the ether. Oh, I had some idea of, like, there was a song we could play.
Is there a song about ether?
Oh, there was just like no, there was a song I said, we should have played this towards the end, but I sort of forgot about it.
I want to find an excuse to use Faith Hill's This Kiss, because she uses the word centrifugal in it.
You know, we're
anyway,
not
I'm gonna. Right? Oh, good, because I was just going to say there's a game called Flappy Floyd.
Hey, Hobbit, have you never heard Ether Song?
Yeah.
By During Breaks.
Just a minute.
What? Anyway, night all.
Good night, everybody.
Flappy Floyd.
We're done.